All right, everyone, we'll go and get started. We'd like to welcome Ludvig Aberg to the interview room here at the 2025 Players Championship. Ludvig, making your second appearance, finished solo 8th in your debut in 2024, and you've since become a Ponte Vedra resident. I guess what's it been like preparing for this championship this year, knowing you've had access to the golf course for the last few months and since October?
Yeah, it's been great. We moved here in mid-October of last year, and it's been great. I've loved it, and play the golf course quite a bit. It's been nice. It feels like anytime we had some visitors coming over, my parents or my buddies or something like that, we always try to go play it, and got a few rounds in, and it's been great.
All right, we'll go right into questions. If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll get a microphone over to you. Start here with Gary.
Thank you. Ludvig, how you doing? The PGA Tour University system, so far, you've won. Carl won last week, came out of that. Luke Clanton got his card through the accelerated program. Matthew Riedel got to the qualifying school last year. Is this primarily a motivator to the college players as a way to get to the tour? Is that maybe the primary thing? Is it just gives you guys something to shoot for other than what the normal process would have been?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the PGA Tour U team has done a tremendous job of making it possible for us, and I was sort of the first guy to be able to take advantage of it, and I'm going to be forever grateful for that. It kind of springboarded my career and gave me a really good start, and you're going to see a lot of guys coming out of that program who are really good players and really good golfers, and Carl winning last week in his 4th start, I think, was pretty cool. And Luke getting his tour card as well. So it's going to make college golf better. Ultimately, I think it's going to benefit everyone involved, and I'm glad to see guys coming after me having similar success.
Right here in the room.
Yeah, Ludvig, how have you settled in living here in your new home in Florida, and also having all these extra reps on this golf course? What does that mean to you going into this week?
Yeah, it's been nice. TPC Sawgrass is one of my favorite golf courses because it's so straightforward and it's so in front of you. But but you still got to hit the shots. You have to execute. If you don't, you're going to get punished real hard. And but it's also, if you do execute the shots, you're going to get a lot of opportunities. So it is one of my favorite courses, and had the privilege to be able to play it now for a couple of months, and it's cool to have been seeing it and all the different wins. But most guys in the field this week, they've played this golf course plenty of times, and I'm not sure it's going to be a real advantage come Thursday, though.
Pass the mic next to Caddie right here.
Can you tell us what's the best round that you had here, your lowest score? And what holes do you really like, and what holes do you really hate?
I think my lowest is maybe 7, something like that. It feels like every time I've played over the last couple of months, it's been cold and it's been blowing about 20, so I haven't been very scoreable. But it's a great golf course. I love the back nine. The back nine's got so many good holes. 12 when they move it up. 14's a strong hole. 16, 17, 18 is probably the best finish in my opinion, because you can not easy, but you can, if you hit the shots, you can go 3-2-3. But if you don't, you can go 6-6-6. So I like that type of golf, and if you want to win this tournament, you have to step up and hit some good golf shots.
Yeah, we're just going to Don in the back.
Ludvig, within the last few minutes, Tiger Woods has just posted an announcement that he's ruptured his left Achilles and he's undergone minimally invasive surgery to repair it. He apparently expects a full recovery. I just wonder, since we've just heard the news, if you have a response or a reaction to that?
Yeah, that was news to me as well. Now, when you just said it, obviously it's very unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, I wish him a speedy recovery and hope everything goes well.
Okay, we're just going to come back down here to Doug.
Don't run. No running in the press room. Thank you.
How do you feel about your game right now as this and then the Masters approaches? Is there any one particular area that you're either uncomfortable with or feels the need work?
I felt like last week was a great test, and I felt like tee to green it was good enough to post a really good score, and I felt like last week what sort of held me back was mostly not really getting the ball up and down, not really putting the way I wanted to at times, and last week was kind of a weird one because it felt like every time I missed a green, I made a bogey, and it was really frustrating, and there was no real momentum. There was no wind in the sails, so it felt like I was just treading water for a while. So I would like to get that fixed a little bit more. I'd like to be able to get the ball up and down a little bit more often. I'd like to deal, especially with the rough. I felt like from the fairway it was fine, but judging the lies off the rough last week was tricky. When it was wet, and then it got dry, and then the changing in conditions. So I'd like to get that a little bit better. But overall, tee to green, I felt like it was good enough to play well.
And unrelated, Lud, the first time you came here for the tournament last year during a practice round, did you ever go to the drop area on 17 to practice?
No, I didn't.
Are you one that would ever go into whether it's we'll have the Church Pew bunkers at Oakmont or just different areas of trouble that you might find during a tournament? Why wouldn't you go there? Is it a mental thing or what?
Yeah, it's a good question. I've never practiced a drop or a drop zone shot. I guess it would probably be good in case that happens. But I've never done that here, and probably won't do it in the future either.
All right, we're just going to go to Ann in the back.
Hi, Ludvig. You've always had such a refreshing, quick, matter-of-fact approach to your swing. Has your form always been like that? Did you grow up with the exact same kind of speedy approach?
I think so. In my younger days, I played a lot of golf when I was growing up. I never really practiced, so I guess it was a big deal. I was raised the way to you don't want to be waiting a lot when you're playing golf. You want it to be sort of fast paced when you're walking and when you're playing. So I was never really a slow player when I was younger either, and that kind of stuck with me. I think it's an important part of our game to sort of keep the speed up, and I guess it comes natural to me, and I like to sort of keep it that way.
Is it tough for you to play with slower players because of your pace?
No, not really. I mean, I don't really think about it. At the end of the day, it's my routine, and that's the most important thing to me. You might have to walk a little bit slower or tell one more story to Joe, my caddy, but other than that, it's not really an issue for me.
Okay, just going to go right here.
Hey, Ludvig. There's a great scene in the Netflix show of you and Joe sort of charting almost every shot at Augusta National last year. Is that something you did basically every week last year, or did you reserve that for some of the bigger events?
Yeah, we meet up before every round that we play, tournament round, and we sort of go through the wind for the day and sort of the pins and where to leave it and where not to leave it, and just the strategy of it. I like to do that so that every time you step up on the tee box, you know exactly what you're going to do, and you've had conversations about it, and it kind of takes away all the uncertainty between a caddy and a player. But yeah, we did it. We did a lot at the Masters. I relied a lot on Joe that week. Obviously, he had a lot more experience on the golf course than I had, and he gave me a lot of knowledge, and I trusted that.
I saw you called this a top 5 golf course in the world last week. Could be a controversial take depending on who you ask. Just curious what your other 4 are.
I haven't thought about that. I think I need a little bit more time to compose a list of that. But for me, Sawgrass is definitely one of those.
All right, we're going to go to Kevin right here.
You mentioned Carl Phillips earlier. How well do you know him, and have you spent any time with him or playing golf with him?
Yeah, we never really played in college. It felt like every time Texas Tech played with Stanford, I always played with Michael Thorbjornsen, so we never really were paired together. But then he lives in the area too, so we were out playing. I remember we played Dyes Valley, the other course here at Sawgrass, and it was cold, it was windy, and he shot like 8 under or something like that, and I'm like, okay, he can play. And he's a really nice guy. I like him a lot, and he's going to play a lot of good golf on the PGA Tour.
For someone to win their third start as a member, coming off an injury like you did, how impressive is that? What type of...
It's really cool, especially with, missing a few events early on, getting his tour card last year and having to deal with, I guess, a setback, which is not always easy. And it seemed like he seamlessly sort of transitioned into playing and practicing, and not only playing golf, but playing really good golf too, and getting his first win is really cool.
Okay, we're going to John up here.
Ludvig, you give the impression of being very much in control of yourself and very content with yourself. When was the last time you did or came across something that got you going? And is there something? What are some of the other things that get you going?
That gets me going in a good way. Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, you like on and off the golf.
Yeah, I think I'd like to think I'm very consistent in the way that I treat a lot of things, not only on the golf course but off the golf course too. I like to keep my friends and family very close, and I don't expect a ton from a lot of people, but apart from the people that are close to me. So last week I was really frustrated. At one point, I even threw a ball in the water, which was kind of surprising to myself. But I missed this super easy up and down, and I got pissed. And that doesn't happen very often, but it did last week. So I lost it a little bit there. But other than that, I'd like to think I'm pretty good to control myself. Yeah.
And off the course?
Yeah. I mean, I get nervous when there's football on the TV, when there's other sports playing. But other than that, I'm pretty consistent.
Soccer, you mean, or American football?
Yeah.
Why do you get nervous about it?
Liverpool, when they play, I want them to win. I've always wanted them to win. And yeah, I'm just into it.
Okay. All right, we're going to go back to the left here.
I was just about to ask about Liverpool. Right here. 4 minutes until the real sporting event of the day, as I'm sure you know.
That's right.
Can you talk about, is football like an outlet for you in some way?
100%. It is. It's always been, I played a lot when I was younger, and it's always sort of been something that I like to do with my friends and on my spare time. And for a long time, football was my number one over golf. I still watch a lot of football every weekend if I'm home. It's sort of... I was a little bit confused first when I moved over here because obviously the time changes, and I was so used to having the football in the afternoon. But I sort of like it now in the mornings. You can sort of wake up and have breakfast and watch the game. And I like to do that over the weekends if I'm home. And it's definitely an outlet.
Okay, we're just going to finish up here in the back.
Ludvig, I want to know how nice it is to be comfortable in your surrounding, driving from home to the tournament instead of maybe a hotel or Airbnb, and maybe your favorite spot to eat in Ponte Vedra Beach.
Yeah, it's been a little weird. The last time I stayed at home, I was talking to a friend. I played a high school tournament about 10 years ago. That was the last time I stayed in my own bed for a tournament, so it's a little different. But I had my mom coming in a couple of days ago, and my dad's coming in tomorrow, so it'll be fun to hang out with them in a home setting, but as well as at a tournament. So it'll be really cool. And there's a couple of good spots, especially if you go a little bit further up north in Neptune and Atlantic Beach. There's a lot of nice places to go eat.
All right. Ludvig, thanks for the time. Best of luck this week.
Thank you.